So as you can probably imagine, a lot goes into making a pinball, virtual pinball machine. So I wanted to show you what sort of the next steps are, which is basically getting everything that I have, that I've sort of bought over the last couple of months, into the pinball cabinet box. So, and I'm also going to show you sort of my workspace. I love organization. This is not organized. It's chaos. It's organized chaos, but you can sort of see what needs to be done in terms of having an empty space inside the cabinet and filling up with the bits and pieces and the toys and the computers and the stuff that makes it work. So let's check it out. So here is the inside of the cabinet. You'll notice the hole in the middle. I made that a while ago, even before I did any painting. I actually made a little video of that. It actually was the most viewed video that I've made so far. For some strange reason, me drilling a hole is fascinating. I may have to do more drilling in here because I think I have to put more holes in for fans and stuff. So I got to figure that out. These here are called bass shakers. I actually had these mounted in my couch in the basement for my home theater setup. It's a speaker, but it's not really a speaker. It actually produces a very, very low vibrational tactile response, or sound, if you will. You can't really hear it, but you can feel it. These are going to be mounted to the base, so it's going to produce a sound or vibration through the cabinet whenever things happen within a game. I've got two. A lot of people just do one. I had two in my home theater setup, so I'm going to put them both in. They are combined with other speakers, which I'll show you in a little bit. Little mini speakers don't do the same thing, and it's all part of what's called SSF, or which is surround sound feedback, which is the feedback that you get while you play a game. And so this is the space I have to work with. So I'm going to show you what needs to go in this space. Obviously, the main thing that goes in is the PC. I bought a pre-built machine. A lot of builders sort of build their own systems, but graphic cards are extremely hard to find these days. They're being used to mine for Bitcoin. You can't find them without spinning an arm and a leg. So I ended up buying a Dell pre-built computer, which has a sweet graphics card inside. This is going to be laid on its side inside the cabinet. So I showed you this the other day in my trip out to that pinball place. This is the shaker motor. That's got to go in there. There's also the cover that sits on the top. I've got some buttons laying around, different. Oh, my cup holder. There's the cup holder. There's obviously lots of parts and tools, different things. So I bought gloves because when I'm going to be painting again. This is a 12-volt power supply. Inside a cabinet, there's multiple power supplies that power multiple things. This is a 12-volt power supply. What do we have here? Oh, we've got some more buttons, bits and pieces. These here are wrapped up. You'll get to see them at some point. It's called the lock bar. It fits on the front of the cabinet. You've probably seen them before. This is a box. This is the sort of the software, the hardware that controls many of the things that happen in the game. I did an unboxing of this. Feels like ages ago. But essentially, this is the heart of the pinball machine. This connects to the computer. These are all going to be sprayed out with wires that run to different things. Things like the buttons and the lights and a whole bunch of other stuff. This is my DMD panel. I know you've watched me. I've built this. This was fairly complicated. This is a pretty significant build. But, you know, I'm happy with that. It looks really cool. We've got side rails in here. We've got legs in there. And what else have we got? Oh, this is the back of the back box. Here's the subwoofer. There's that big ass speaker. There's spray paint. Spray paint, I'm going to be spraying some glass at some point that goes in the back box. That's the primer. I don't need that. So I'm using a bunch of different trays to house different things. This is another tripod, obviously. Yeah, it's not part of the build. So what have we got? We got wire, different colored wire, because different things need different color wire, of course. We've got, oh, that's just more wire. We've got some terminal blocks for the wiring. What else do we have? Terminal stuff. This little one is a 5-volt power supply, so it's going to serve some other different parts, and then these hold the wires with it inside the thing. So okay, shall I pause this or bear with me? All right, so under it we have power. We've got a smart switch here. This is kind of cool. So what happens is when one part of the system powers on, which will be the main computer, it'll activate the other switches to turn everything else on, things like the TV and the amplifiers. Cable management, so to make all the wires look pretty, I got one of these cable management things, so the wires will run through here and then jet out these little holes. Keep things nice and tidy, because it will become a bit of a rat's nest inside. I've seen plenty of photos, so it can look pretty crazy. There's also additional power cords, a little mini one. This will go on the back box. This will control the TV in the top part. And then, I don't even know what these are. I bought a lot of this stuff a long time ago. Oh, these are the fans. Okay, little fans. Obviously it gets fairly warm inside a cabinet, so there's going to be one fan blowing air in, or sucking or drawing air in, and then two exhaling it. Expelling it? Getting rid of it. So 3 fans there. Alright. So most of the stuff I got from Amazon. I also got all the stuff from AliExpress. It's kind of like the Chinese Amazon, if you will. Get rid of that. What do we have here? It's always exciting going back and looking at the stuff that I ordered. Oh, okay, LED strips. I'm going to have some strips several places. Little LEDs, little lights. They'll be different colors. They'll flash different things. Underneath it, I don't know if you can see the little panels. Hard to describe now, but when you see it. So these are going to be LED lighting strips that go underneath the cabinet, sort of to make the cabinet sort of glow underneath while I'm playing. Also, I'm going to be doing them near the playfield and then along the back. Yeah, just wait and see. Okay, we've got. Okay, so these are going to be. They're going to go with the fans to keep prying fingers out. I've got junk here. What do we have here? Okay, this little foam. I've been using this foam for a couple things. Very, very cool. Leg protectors. Bolts for attaching the legs. There's some levelers for the legs once they're in. These black things, they're going to fit around the glass of the back box. Little latch. I don't know how interesting this is, but I don't know. This is the coin door. I've put this in a separate crate because I'm going to be working on it as a separate sort of entity. There's lots of multiple mini projects. Okay, so here's the cool one. We've got 3 little amplifiers. There's going to be one amplifier that powers the main speakers in the back box, and then 2 other ones for the surround sound feedback system. Okay. We've got a 7.1 audio card, which produces the surround sound within a cabinet to move the sound around the cabinet. So it feels like the ball's actually in there, even though we know it isn't. I got more wire, because why not? Apparently you need a ton of wire, so I bought a ton of wire. Diodes, protect circuitry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Another power supply. This one is 24 volts. This will power the audio. What else do we have here? We've got the remotes for the TV, got speaker cables, got various audio cables, HDMI video cables, connect the computer. And then we've got some audio cables, empty bag. Okay, and these are the little tactile little speakers, like those little bass shakers, but little baby ones. These mount to the cabinet, inside a cabinet, and produce a very low frequency vibration. These are going to be mounted around the cabinet, and we'll be able to sort of replicate vibration, or that feeling when the ball is close by. So I have to put those on the side. And then underneath, oh yeah, the speakers for the back box. So it's one of the speaker grills, new cables, More bits and pieces. It's always cool when you find stuff. Oh, these are feet for the circuit board. So I think that's it. You know, it gets a bit crazy. I'm trying to keep everything separate. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So what you see has to go inside here. And obviously the computer takes up a huge amount of space within that. But with the guide that I'm using, he lays out pretty good. It's laying it out and then putting it in, and then obviously connecting it and testing it and making sure it works. So onwards and upwards. You thought I was finished, didn't you? I found a couple of other things that I want to include in this video. The first is a tilt mechanism. You've played real pinball. If you give it an excessive shake, it flashes tilt. It sort of discourages aggressive use. My pinball is going to have a real one in it, so when you shake it, it's going to come up as tilt. So this is a cool toy. I think this was only like $10 or something. And then the other things this is an extra ball button. Things like this to make it real. And then these are those brackets as well. And then these they hold the LED strips. So yeah, this is it. This is really the end, I promise. Until next time. Adios.